Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing fantastic today. And today, bringing you guys a little build guide. I haven't really done a build guide since I have done like the top 5 supports, so it's been a little while. Protector's Mask wasn't even in the game. Sentinels used to be 7 gold, now it's 8. I don't even know if Benevolence was the old Benevolence or the new Benevolence when the last time I made like a build guide. And War Flag is still shit, so just don't build War Flag. Yeah, part 1 of the build guide. War Flag is not really an optimal item. You can still build it if you want to have fun, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's fun if you're playing like casuals and you just want to like stomp, or you want to like make use of the passive, or like you want to try to stomp a rank game. Like it can be fun, but if you die or if you don't get a kill or if you're like even, you're gonna fall behind. You're gonna fall behind very quickly. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just start off with that one. War Flag, bad. Probably don't even build it. Honestly, I'm gonna get rid of it just so you guys are like not even thinking about it. Like out of sight, out of mind, gone.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Just like that. 3 starter item options: Sentinel's Gift, Benevolence, Protector's Mask. When you look at these items, a lot of the times you look at them for what the final starter you want to have between Sentinels and Benevolence. Before they added Protector's Mask, it was really just between, do you want Compassion late game, or do you want Sentinel's Boon or Sentinel's Embrace? Now that Protector's Mask is in the game, it gives mages, it gives assassins another option, but Warriors and Guardians can't build it. Warriors and Guardians are still between Sentinel's Gift and Benevolence. So when do you want to build Sentinel's Gift? Kind of the same as before. Do you want to win the lane? It's very good for being tanky. I think the biggest problem with Sentinel's Gift right now is when they made everyone tankier, it made HP 5 just go through the roof. Benevolence has just got this 7 HP 5 and Sentinels has 0. All it has is the health you get back when you get an assist on minions. So it did make Sentinels a little bit worse. Benevolence gives you just a ton of HP 5 sustain. You don't need to be around minions to assist them. You can last hit them on accident or on purpose if you wanted to. And then even if you do get the assist, you still get extra health from the Benevolence passive. You gain 1 stack of Benevolence every second up to a maximum of 50. Assists provide 4 stacks. And then you heal an allied god when they take damage. That's essentially Benevolence is you want assists, so then you can heal and get gold from healing your ally. That's how it works. And then stat-wise, Sentinels, you'll be a little bit tankier. Benevolence is just more just for the passive. And then you take a look at Protector's Mask. We're just going to pretend like you guys have never heard of this item before. You don't know when it would be built, why it would be built. Only thing you know is it cannot be built on Guardians and Warriors. Protector's Mask, it gives 125 health, 100 mana. It decreases your damage dealt. I say like 6 to 8%. It's 6 to 8% in the mid to early game, and then it gets up to like 10% if you get it like the entire way. And then it decreases your damage taken by 6% to 10% also per your god's level. So you're doing a little less damage and you're taking a little less damage. Not too bad, not too great. That decreasing your damage though is very tough when you're trying to play an assassin, to be aggressive, to like make sure you actually have relevant damage. Because if you think to when Fenrir ruled the game, Fenrir was the go-to assassin, it's because he could solo you by himself over a course of 34 or 30 to 45 seconds. Like he jumped on you, autoed you a couple times, backed up, jumped on you, backed up, autoed a couple times. I guess it wouldn't be that order here, but yeah. Either way, it would just be like over time, you just slowly whittle you down. And now you look at this, you're gonna be doing less damage. The enemy gods are tankier because of the tank update a couple whiles, patches back. So your damage is now less relevant. Also, with how much healing is in the game, and why I say healing is Benevolence is a heal, and a lot of the time you are going to be landing against Benevolence because in my opinion, it's just slightly stronger. Protectors just doesn't seem to fit an assassin starter. If you're playing an assassin, if you're playing Fenrir, you're playing Magi, you're playing Serket, still go with the Sentinel's Gift. You don't make great use of the Compassion. The tankiness that you get from Sentinel's Gift starters in the late game are actually very good, and allows you to go like maybe a hybrid item like Glad Shield, even like a power item like Jotun's, or 2 power items, because you just get good stats from Sentinels. So if you're playing an assassin, just go with Sentinel's Gift. Sentinel's Gift is perfect for assassins. Mages, on the other hand, they don't really care too much about their power. Their poke isn't really like why you're playing them. You're playing them to scale. You're playing them for the mid game. You're playing them to lane bully. And Protector's kind of allowing all of that. If you look at the second part of Protector's also, is getting the assist for an enemy minion or jungle monster. You get 8 gold and 15 health, 15 mana, which is pretty good. If you look at Sentinels, which is the kind of the same passive, this is 12 health and 8 mana. So you're getting 3 extra health per minion and 7 extra mana per minion, which makes Protectors actually pretty good for sustaining, which is what mages want. They want to be able to sustain in the lane, slowly poke down, even though it's more their CC, which is the harass, and then your enemy or your teammates autoing them. So this item is perfect for mages. And then if you build Protector's Mask and then go Thebes, we're going to take a little tangent quick because this item is so specific to just mages, and it's just like Eset, Nox, Baron, where I'm probably just going to talk about this one first and then get it out of the way, and then we'll just focus on the other two. If you go Thebes, Spirit's Robe, Mantle, and then you finish your Protector's Mask, you turn into Lono's Mask, that's all the protections you need for that item, and you're allowed to go 2 power items then. If you look at Lono's upgrade, take a little look at Lono's upgrade quick. At 300 protections, you remove all stacks of cowardice and you get 5 stacks of bravery, giving you 15% mitigation and 35 protections to all allied gods within 55 units, including yourself, which I thought it was only going to be 28. I was wrong. So yeah, 35 prots, 15% mitigation, and there's a little bit of crowd control reduction. Makes Lono's really good. You get 30% from Spirit's Robe and Lono's, and then you're allowed just 2 damage items. You could go Chronos, Pythags, you could go Deso, Magus, whatever you want to go. It allows you to just go 2 damage items because you're stacked out. This Lono's passive so makes you just super tanky. Yeah, that's like the only time you'll really buying Lono's is if you're building 3 defense items, and those 3 specifically to allow yourself to go 2 damage items. If you have any questions about Lono's, maybe I explained it slightly wrong, just ask below. I'll let you guys know. We're going to skip Lono's now, and we're going to move on to Sentinels and Benevolence. So back to what I was saying about Sentinels is if you want to win lane, it's very good. However, it doesn't even win that lane that hard anymore because Benevolence is % health. So when you get extra tankiness from that patch a few patches ago, you're going to be healing more with Benevolence. Benevolence also gives you HP 5, so you're going to be constantly healing. Sentinels just makes you take a little bit less damage, which, I mean, it is a good amount less damage. If you're playing like Sobek, Xing Chen, Cerberus, Kuzumbo, something where you can almost outtrade the enemy just by like kind of autoing and using your heals or using your abilities, Sentinel still has a lot of value. We'll save this and we'll take a look at the Guardians, and we'll go over them very quickly of which starter I would build. Ares, Sentinels, you have very good damage with it. It gives you a little extra tankiness. And in the late game, when you get Sentinel's Embrace, it counts as an aura. Pretty good item for him. RDO, I'd go Benevolence just because I think people underrate how well she scales as a support late game. She's a really good backline support in the late game, or a really good dive support. If you don't need to be the engage for your team, she actually works really well with Compassion. Her kit works really well to peel. I'd go Benevolence on RDO. Athena, I'd go Sentinels. You want the extra tankiness. You want to be able to outtrade. You want to be able to trade your health a little bit with theirs and try to outtrade them that way. Atlas, another Sentinels god. Now that I'm thinking about it, I said that Benevolence makes more sense for a lot of gods. It's just the best gods in the meta right now use Benevolence. Yeah. Bacchus Sentinels, Kabrakan Sentinels, Cerberus Sentinels, Cthulhu Sentinels. Fafnir's one that can build either way. I like to go Benevolence because he doesn't have that much kind of damage absorption, and I like frontlining more with Fafnir than playing more towards the backline. Benevolence on Ganesh. Actually, Cthulhu, I don't know if I skipped Cthulhu or if I just said Sentinels because I'm AFK in the brain. I'd go Benevolence on Cthulhu if you ever wanted to try him in support. He's actually so fun, or he was a lot more fun before they gutted him. If you went Compassion and then just went like full health and just soaked a bunch of damage and healed your team, it was actually so much fun. Ganesh, Benevolence. Geb, Benevolence. Yorm, don't play. Kepri, Benevolence. Kumba, either one. I'd probably go Sentinels. Sentinels. Either one. Sentinels, Benevolence, either one, but I go slightly towards Sentinels. So now you've probably also been seeing a lot of Mail Renewal built in SPL. Mail Renewal got a buff last patch to from 20 protections to 30 protections of each magical and physical. So now this item, as soon as you finish building it, is giving you 250 health, 15 HP 5, and then 30 prots of each. Statted very, very well for an item that has a passive. If the passive is good, this item has a lot of value. When you're hit by an enemy god, you gain a stack up to once a second, increasing your protection by 4. Max of 5 stacks, and they last for 5 seconds each. So you get an extra 20 stacks if you get hit 5 times every second, up to totaling 50 protections each. At max stacks, upon being hit, you are immediately healed for 15% of your maximum health. 15% of your maximum health instantly. Crazy. Allies, and you actually get health so much faster now. If you go this item first, and then you go into another partial health item, and then your starter, and then you're level like 10-ish, you're going to be about 2,000 health, which will heal you for like 300 burst. Allies within 35 units heal for 15% of their maximum health over 10 seconds. Another thing, fantastic. This just makes you almost into a healer. It's something where you can't control it completely, but you can position, you can take damage when you want, just to like stack it up and stuff like that, and kind of manipulate it into proccing when you want. So this is actually a very, very good item for team fighting, for grouping with your team, because if you're 4-man grouped and you get a 15% heal on your entire team, that's an extra 60% health that the enemy has to fight through. Comparing it with Thebes, which is still statted out of its mind when you get it stacked. But that's the thing, you have to get it stacked. As soon as you finish building it, you just left base, you just finished building it, 250 health and 15 HP 5, that's it. No protections, no nothing. Just health and HP 5. Every single minion you see dying, you get 1 stack of protections. And you can stack it up to 50. And then once you're fully stacked, you give it an aura of 10 physical and magical protections. So this item ends up being 120 total protections. 60 magical, 60 physical. And you get 10 magical and 10 physical to your teammates around you. In an early team fight, before you finish stacking this, what's going to be more useful? Say 40 stacks of Thebes. So you get 40 protections to just yourself of each. Or 30 protections to yourself, 15% heal for your teammates, and then you also get extra protections every time you're hit. Like I'm saying, this item is so good for this current like slow pacing of Smite, where 90% of the time, Mail of Renewal just makes more sense. If you want to build Thebes, I would usually try to build it into like a power item, because as a solo tank item, like level 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in that area where you get your second item, Mail of Renewal does not equal Thebes. Thebes is very, very good as a solo tank item. So if you're going like Thebes into Pythags, Thebes into Chronos Pendant, Thebes into Deso, something like that, it feels a lot better than Renewal into Pendant, Renewal into Pythags, Renewal into Deso. So if you're planning on building a power item, I would go for Thebes. However, a lot of the time, if you're not planning on going a power item, Renewal just has a lot more value. I set this up just really quickly, just so you guys are kind of clear with what I'm saying, where this is your starter, this is your first item, and this is your second item. If you build Sentinels or Benevolence, doesn't matter, whichever one, this is usually an item you're going to be looking for as your next up item. These are the really only 4 items that I would think of rushing. The only other one is Pythags, and I think it has niche scenarios where it's a more aggressive kind of renewal, where if you're grouping with your team, you want to fight on Scorpions, you want to fight with your jungle mid lane, or you want to just run at the enemy jungle or something like that. Pythags has a little bit of value, but I think a lot of the time Renewal is just a better Thebes or a better Pythags. And then the other one is the Chronos Pendant Rush. I think the Chronos Pendant Rush is a lot worse than it used to be. Now that Mail of Renewal is really good, you trade really well into the god who has Chronos Pendant, because you have an actual early game spike. Chronos Pendant used to feel pretty decent and not terrible, because they'd be stacking Thebes. So your damage is pretty relevant, and you could threaten their backline, and you had just a lot more cooldowns in them. But now they are very tanky. They heal. They're sustaining. They're giving their teammates heals, and you're just tossing a bunch of abilities out, and they don't do that much damage because they have quick spikes. And then Sov is like the quintessential. They have 4 physical. They have a double physical dual lane. I just want to run at their purple buff. Stuff like that. Sov still has a lot of value. So if you are planning on doing any of that, you're playing Sobek. Sov is still a really good rush. Next up, looking at Magi's, which has seen a lot of builds ever since they added in the Magi's upgrades. So there's 2 Magi's upgrades now. Magi's Revenge, which is if somebody pulls your Magi's, your team and you get 10% more damage against them and 20% movement speed towards them. And then Magi Shelter, which it's getting built, but I don't see the value 90% of the games to build Shelter. I just think you're missing out on Magi's Revenge passive, and Shelters is just not as good. This one is every time you get hit by a crowd control that pulls your Magi's, you give a crowd control effect or a Magi's effect to one of your teammates, the closest one to you, for 5 seconds. Not terrible, but you really can't choose who it goes to. It lasts 5 seconds, so if somebody just kind of walks up, pulls your Magi's, and backs away, that's it. But with Magi's Revenge, you can kind of like take after them and try to punish them for pulling your Magi's, which I just think it makes more sense, and it's a little bit better, in my opinion. Sov is always a good second item. You can go Thebes into Sov to be just super tanky and a lot of HP 5. Mail into Sov for a lot of healing for your team and good sustain. You can go Mail into Spirit's Robe, so you're very hard to engage on. When you do get engaged on, you won't die. And then Mail into Pythags, I don't think I would ever really build. It's more of a Gauntlet into Pythags, Sov into Pythags type build. But I mean, it wouldn't be terrible. You'd just be kind of relying on your team to be more tanky and sustaining, and you kind of would just be fighting on your team with a build like this. And then if you build Chronos Pendant, you probably are just going Sov second. That's just kind of the value of building Chronos Pendant, is you just go Sov second. But there's a short little build guide, a little intro to the support build since the new changes. If you guys got any questions, drop them down below. Check out Gamersupps. Use code Inbound. My favorite flavor, guacamole gamer fart. What? Sounds disgusting, but it's delicious. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out.